I'm going to throw two of these at you because I love the end of the year period where we can just sort of go, here's this random indie thing that I couldn't put in any list because it wasn't big enough to justify or whatever the hell. So I've got two things. One is the Hong Kong Massacre, which is a brilliant top-down Max Payne style, gorgeous looking thing. What are you doing a little twisty face for? It's not about that. No, not Blizzard. No, nothing to do with that. Lovely other side thing with twin pistols and a top-down Max Payne style thing, which is literally just taking as much influence from old school John Woo style movies, Max Payne Stranglehold as well. And yeah, it's literally just a top-down Hotline Miami style thing, where you're kind of just this like detective cop guy telling the story and from the future, going back into the cases that he was in. But it's just an excuse to indulge in particle physics and the amount of like different smoke on screen and all these different effects that sort of give you the most over-the-top gunfights possible. It looks gorgeous, and yet you can always just hold one of the buttons down and slow everything right down to a crawl as you dive through windows and slide along the floor with your shotguns and twin pistols and everything. It's perfect. It's the kind of thing that you would want from a top-down Max Payne, and I love it. My other one is Judgment, which is the spin-off game from Ryo Gagatoku Studio, who always do the Yakuza games. The reviews on the channel, you can go watch it from like a few months ago. But that game is just them taking the Yakuza engine and reframing it as like a spin-off and letting you play as a detective on the side. I like detectives this year, and you play as this dude who's like Takayuki Yagami, who's kind of infiltrating the Yakuza from the inside, and he's just operating alongside all the other events that have kind of happened in the Yakuza games and whatever. And it just means that they get to reframe Kamurocho, the main city, and giving you all the separate like mini games that are in Yakuza 0 and things like that, but with this additional sort of like, you know, clue chasing sort of story. And they get to revamp the combat and stuff as well. And I love Japanese stuff, and it's just an excuse to do more Japanese stuff, but with a whole new perspective on Japanese stuff. It's good. Also, my friend Pedro, which isn't my friend Pedro, but my friend Pedro is a lovely little side-scrolly, slow-motion shootery thing. I love a bit of slow-motion shootery things, where you play as a dude with a little mask on, and you're haunted by like a banana who's called Pedro, and he just sort of talks to you a lot, and tells you to kill, and so you do. And you can jump on skateboards and flip around in midair and kick off the walls and do everything. There's also a really cool dual aiming mode where you just flip through the sky in super slow motion, targeting different people as you go, and then land on a skateboard and keep going and do kickflips. It's brilliant. My friend Pedro is phenomenal.
The most overlooked title that dropped in my lap and suddenly became an obsession of mine for a good long time was Remnant from the Ashes, made by the people who did Darksiders 3 Gunfire games. They just turned around and said, hey, do you like Dark Souls, or do you like Souls-likes? Do you like guns? I'm like, I can appreciate Souls-likes. I like guns. And here you go, have this. And it is this randomly generated, world-hopping Dark Souls with guns game, and it's like, that is literally the best way to put it. It has the difficulty, not as hard as a proper Souls game, but it is quite tough, and you've got these big flamboyant bosses and you've got these tough enemies to get through, and it was just something so unexpected that I absolutely adored, that I was playing for like 8-9 hours at a time, because it was just that obsessive to try and get through. Even the use of co-op as well. We have 3 players, just live players, no like weird Dark Souls-y, like kind of there but not there. It's like you're literally just 3 people together, going out into the world, killing the root, taking back what was once yours, and finding out the secrets of the wards on this islandy thing you're on. And the story is pretty mediocre. There's not really much to it, but the gameplay is absolutely phenomenal. If you're a fan of Souls-likes, but you're not too keen on like super duper ridiculous difficulty, it is tough at times. I think it's the Souls-like that has properly broken the seal for me to actually play more Souls-likes.
Now you can finish Sekiro.
No. I'm gonna finish Code Vein first. I need to spend more time with my waifu, Scott. Remnant from the Ashes. It's on Game Pass. Go.
Now, when you think of annual releases, you think of stuff like FIFA and WWE, and you can see like this year how well they've done, especially with WWE. But there is one annual release out there which is really is improving by every single release, and that's F1 2019. And yes, it is a bit niche. Yes, it is racing. Like, not many people do enjoy racing games, but honestly, it's such an upgrade to what it was in the past. Like 14 and 15 were really like probably the lower points of the franchise, but As a massive like Formula 1/F1 fan, it's just so great to just take your car out and just like speed at 230 miles an hour or however bloody fast they go and just, you know, have a race in that. Especially on a wheel, because it works really well. Like the handling and the car control is just like so much better than what it used to be, and it's just so refined. Like when you roll off of a rumble strip with too much power, you can like your back end just like goes outwards, and it's really realistic.
You can drift an F1 car.
You can drift an F1
Sweet
car.
Jesus.
In fact, if you watch an F1 race, you can see that they're sliding all over the place because there's just no traction. And yeah, but the most important thing is the graphics. Like if you have a look at the game nowadays, it just looks so amazing. Like it's really hard nowadays to distinguish it from an actual race to gameplay. Obviously there's little bits here and there that do make it look like a game, but it's come so far to what it was back in the day. It's just so overlooked because literally no one talks about it at all. They assume it's like this annual franchise that is just the same as last year. It's even got a bloody story mode in it. Like you work away from Formula 2 to Formula 1, and it's just, it's just brilliant. Like you need to give it a try if you're into racing games or even the F1 overall.
My personal overlooked game of 2019 is one that I really enjoyed, but I didn't see it talked about that much afterwards, or if I did, it was mainly negative leaning reviews, whereas I think it's overlooked because there's lots of good things to it that are deserving of a bit of a love, which is Blair Witch. So it's not the perfect game. It's not a perfect game. It's a walking sim going through the forest, but the way that it captures the feel of the movie, this is what, I'm just a big fangirl for Blair Witch things, so I was like, the way it captures the feel of the 1999 movie and transposes that into this setting is just perfect. It feels like you're inside that film, walking around, going through the forest, and it applies all this dream logic to you, so you're constantly going in a loop and being hunted by something that you're not sure what it is, where it is, what is going on, and you're with your dog Bullet, who's running around sniffing out stuff for you to help find this lost boy that's in the forest. You're going with a police escort people, but you've split off in your own group to try and find a lost boy in the forest. The lost boy is very lost, and the Bullet is trying to help you run around and sniff him out by little pieces of clothes and stuff. And as you go on, you slowly uncover all of this past trauma that Ellis has, who's your main character, and stuff with his ex-wife or his estranged wife, and stuff with things that have gone on in his job previously all start to come to light, and it plays off his personal trauma with the trauma of the forest and everything else that's been going on in there, and it's just one big amalgamation of horrific imagery and feeling. It's an atmospheric game. It's like walking through someone's horrible nightmare, and I think it's put together so well in that aspect. The feelings it evokes and the way that it draws upon its source material and expands it slightly, I think, is so good. And then getting to actually have the piece where you're interacting as a character and a player, you get to go into the Blair Witch house and run around and get absolutely mullered by the witch herself. It's just, I just loved it. I just loved everything about it. And again, it's not the perfect game. It's not the most exciting, replayable, oh my god, it's blown my mind because of the gameplay. It's its feelings and its story and its narrative that I feel like it's been massively overlooked for. A flawed game doesn't mean anything to me, you know what I mean? You know what I mean? It's fine if it's got a few flaws. Yeah, it's fine if it's got a few flaws, Colonial Marines, as long as what its driving force is entertaining or has something that appeals to me, basically. It's my overlooked game. Just stressing opinion here again. Sekiro got me so much crap last time. But yeah, Blair Witch, I really enjoyed it, and I don't think it got half the love it deserved. And I don't think it's going to get talked about afterwards. I feel like it was very flash in the pan. It came out around October sort of time, had a little spooky Halloween release. And I just think it deserves a bit more love for it, because it's so short. You can just go in, experience it, be like, oh my god, manipulate time through tapes. I don't want to tell you everything because it's really good. But yeah, you can go and experience all these horrors in the forest, and I just don't think there's anything that quite captures that atmosphere, especially of that film, which is so seminal. And of course, found footage framing, which is always good. It's not done enough. It's Outlast in the woods, but a little more subdued. It's good. It's good. Go play it.
Is it good?
Yeah, it's good.
Good.
Well, one of them is probably gonna have to be A Plague Tale: Innocence, because it really seems to just fallen by the wayside in Game of the Year nominations. No one's really talking about it. I think it's had a few nods for style or being different, but apart from that, more people just need to play A Plague Tale. When is the last game we've played that was taking place in the 1300s? It's just an untapped region of time. I think some of the Assassin's Creeds have played around in times I haven't really played them as much because just don't play the Assassin's Creeds, but a stealth game with billions of rats. Sold. Just creeping around in the dark, lighting some torches, getting through there. Oh wait, there's rats. If they get you, skin you alive. Gun. It's a bit like, remember in Indiana Jones, scared of rats. Why is he scared of rats? Because of this game. Guide little brother through, get some rat powers at the end, beat the Inquisition, done. Also, play Void Bastards, because Void Bastards has got style.